Hey students, I'm so excited. We're finally going to get started on our isometric landscape final project. Before you start designing and get ahead of yourself, I wanted to go through a couple concepts that I think might help you wrap your head around kind of where you want to get started and what type of project you want to do. So I have a bunch of student examples that I wanted to show you. And here on this first page, I pulled some professional examples that you might recognize from different things you've seen. But just to get a general picture, you can do something more surreal like what we see in Monument Valley here. We can do something where we see interior views and have a different theme for each interior room. We could do an entire cityscape with different skyscrapers and different buildings. We could do something more nature-based, completely abstract with more just shapes and textures, more artistic than it is realistic. We could study a particular architectural theme or do something that's more of a interior view. So let's take a peek at some of these before you decide and know which one you want to do. Let's look through a couple. This is a great one done that's very simple but clean and good craftsmanship. I wanted to talk through some of the elements you're going to want to consider including. This one is more of a surreal landscape, but I wanted to mention that you can use any non-isometric elements that you like. You don't have to have everything along the grid. So you can see her son didn't quite follow along. You're welcome to design any animals or people or characters for your world if you'd like as well. And I would really encourage you, I want to see some changing levels. I'd love to not just see everything flat on the ground, but to really play around with height changes. Whether that's platforms or floating platforms or the buildings themselves, just please have fun with that. And then also welcome to include any foliage, trees or mushrooms. They don't have to necessarily look natural, but have fun with that. Here's an example that I thought was a more masculine theme, and I love that he really unified everything with this kind of dungeon or castle look with all the lava. Consider too just even decorating your structures, whether you're using little finials or cantilever decks, platforms, any type of decking or kind of items that you can repeat that add some really cool textures to your work. I love that he just varied so many levels here and had so many different things going on in his work. This is one of my favorites, although it's not even done. I love the attention to detail on this student's work. You can see some cool interior views and as well as exterior views. And it almost looks like the thought was to have a different theme for each of the floating worlds, but you can definitely get a sense of the storyline or all the action taking place in this one. As well as all the details with the interior furniture. Here's one that went with more of a pop culture SpongeBob theme, and what I love about this is the planning that had to go into it beforehand. You can see that the student didn't just put the pencil to the paper and get going, but kind of had to map out how to figure out where all these different floating platforms would fit within the worlds that he created. And I love that he added some organic elements like the waves and the dripping water to all these harsh lines and angles. So have fun with it and consider what's going to really help you want to continue moving forward with the project, what's going to excite you. I love that he too used these pipelines kind of coming in shapes and emerging out of them. Here's a very simple one, although this is a unique idea of using a street view. So you're welcome to draw lines for where cars might drive, or maybe even a multiple lines with grid work, and put buildings or skyscrapers in between. This one, this particular student chose to do like a clear floor plan, almost like a glass house where you could see through all the different furniture elements that she designed. This one's really fun. You don't see any street view at all. It's mostly an aerial perspective. So you get the airplane in the sky, these kind of floating structures and doorways, and the tops of these skyscrapers. But what I think makes this one particularly cool is this inverted shape here, where he took a pyramid, flipped it upside down, and did like a truncated edge. And what's going to really make your buildings cool is getting away from these basic cubes that you see here and cutting out and using some of those subtractive elements. You can see he carved out channels here and just added a lot of depth into the basic shapes. We did our carved pyramid that we practiced, so have fun chiseling out some of these basic things. Now you are welcome as well to use more than one sheet. So if you're finding that the paper you have isn't giving you adequate room, feel free to add 2 sheets, 3, 4, whatever you need to kind of build your whole world. In fact, this was 2 students that ended up joining their pieces together, which is really cool because they wanted to have a bunch of really complex winding pathways. This one, although it's not done, I love that the theme was kind of this opposite of night and day, and you can see this concept of repetition. So art a lot of times likes to, or artists like to use the concept of repetition to create unity and some sense of regularity, just like you would a consistent beat in a piece of music or something. So have some fun as you consider what kind of theme you want to be working with. This one had a great use of having a good foreground and background. You can see the elements here coming off the edge of the page, somewhere hiding in the back. You get a sense that the camera kind of framed this in her thought. So it's some type of candy factory, it looks like. And I love that she kept consistency in her pillar height. As you see, all of these right here are on the same ground line. And even with this OG up at the top, you can see that she's followed along this same diagonal so that she can keep all of these the same height so they don't look wonky where one's tall and one's short. So this is really well done. This one too, really simple, but the craftsmanship is clean. Sharpie work is beautiful. And they went ahead and did an isometric view of the clouds and the sun even, just by drawing the shape here and then going diagonally back. What I love too is the massing of shapes. You can see that she added some taller ones with some shorter levels, and adding complexity to the basic buildings by massing the different forms together, which is really cool. You can also reverse your pyramid structure if you want to have this diminishing earthen base where it looks like the ground's kind of chiseling out like that. So hopefully this gave you some fun ideas of what you want to create. So to wrap up, I want to encourage you to select a theme, maybe something from pop culture you're interested in, a favorite shape that you just want to morph and change the scale and repeat and play around with a particular shape. And see how many varieties you can come up with. Maybe you want to design a dream home or a city of the future. You might even just want to explore your thoughts and feelings of what's happening in the world right now, or how you feel with everything that's going on. You could use this particular project to express that. Or if you want to do a study, look at a particular type of architecture you think is really neat and try to draw that in isometric view. You could get some help looking up and getting some reference sheets. I always love to find things online that inspire me, that I can get ideas from and kind of morph them and change them around. So you could design a factory or a farm or anything that really inspires you to want to invest a lot of energy into this project and make it amazing. So I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with this year. And make sure you watch that last video. I'm going to give you all the extra help that you need and this final step of putting all these cool shapes together. So love you all so much. Hope you're having a great time with this project, and I can't wait to see your faces again. Love you.